Welcome back, players. I'm Jack with 36 Cancel. Coco is currently not in the room here with me because if she was, it would be quite impossible to do what I'm about to do, which is just re-sleeve a deck here in time for regionals. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of prepping, choosing what decks I want to bring to the tournament, lightening the bag, checking to make sure I have extra sleeves, and most importantly, re-sleeving the deck I'm using tomorrow. Now, this is a little different from the content I usually do. I usually like to do some more rehearsed, scripted stuff, do more formal videos, but because of what I'm doing right now, which is re-sleeving, I know that I'm going to sit here and just kind of work with this deck for a little bit, see if I like the build, see if I like how the sleeves are fitting, maybe do like some Goldfish games. And while I'm doing that, I figured, why not just do a, just some classic voice, cards, hands, etc. Just informal chat. Certainly out of the ordinary for me. I'd like to do more videos like this in the future, so maybe this is practice. Forgive me if I don't sound too great live, as it were, but like I said, I figured I'd give you a little community interaction before regionals. So regionals, it's currently the 19th of September 2019. Tomorrow I'm driving up to Secaucus, New Jersey with a few friends. We're going to stay at a hotel overnight, and then the 21st is the Secaucus Regionals. So, why don't we get started by unsleeving. First things first, I want to just mention here, the deck I'm playing tomorrow is Standby. It's classic Standby SAO. It's not one of the newer integrated builds where you see Last Shot and Zekend in tandem with the Standby Climax. It's just pure red, blue, yellow Standby, without Sword Art's supposedly strongest color, which is green. Don't get me wrong, there are some busted-ass cards in green. Really wish I could run some of them. I could run one of them, which is Sister Fauna for Brother Leafa. I ended up cutting her from my build last year because she was a 2 of. I dropped her to a 1 of. And then I just figured if I have her with a 1 of, I liked her for the matchups where I found her. I thought that she didn't clog up my hand, but I really wanted some more consistency on my other counts, particularly, here she is, Attack and Waves Asuna. So I bumped her up to 4, which so far I've been super happy with in the time I've gotten to practice with it. And, what am I doing? I'm just kind of rambling on about Standby without even making an effort of unsleeving this deck so I can get started sleeving it. So let's start doing that. Sleeves. Speaking of sleeves, not really a fan of Asuna, but I do like these sleeves. I thought these were really cool. They're got a lot of good foiling on them. If you look at them close by the eye, you can really see the foiling come through on these textured matte sleeves from KMC, which I really like. These are my favorite oversleeves. Sadly enough, I don't have another pack of them. All I have are these Bushiroad Clears. I had meant to order another 10 sets of these sleeves from Amiyami. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen. Not because of lack of money, just because of laziness. Really should have done that because I'm not happy I have to use these sleeves tomorrow. But that's what I get. Definitely could have bought them on Amazon for like $7. And don't get me wrong, I would pay $7 for these KMC mats over the Bushiroad Clears. I just think they play a lot better, they shuffle better, they feel better. But, it is what it is. So, not much I can do about it at this point. Suppose I could do rush 1-day shipping. I don't know if they actually have that for the Bushiroad Clears, or I guess KMC mats is what I want, not these. But again, whatever, I'm lazy. So, 2 days before regionals, I'm doing all my prep. Of course, I don't have anything ready in advance, but then again, it's not very, I guess it's not a very inclusive or heavy packing trip, just some clothes, some basics for the hotel, extra pairs, etc. Underwear, socks, I pack underwear like I'm going to shit myself once every hour on the hour when I go on vacation, so got to do a load of laundry. Basic stuff like that, but who the hell wants to hear about that? You want to hear about Weiss. Speaking of Weiss, we're unsleeving Standby right now. Let me talk a little bit about this deck, where I am with it, and the build I'm using. So, I've been playing Standby for about 1.5 years now. I've piloted it at the past 2 regionals I've attended. One was singles, one was teams. It was the fall singles format and the spring teams format in 2019. Fall was 2018. I've gotten pretty good ahead with this deck when I've played it, as in I've placed well. Our team in 2019. We were Team 3-6 Cancel. We made it all the way to top 8, which was pretty cool. Back in fall of 2018, I went 5-2. Didn't make the cut. Oh well. Was it 5-2? I can't quite remember. I know there's a video. Oh no, it was 4-3. It was 4-3. That's right. I went 4-3 in the fall because I just bricked out playing Persona. Ooh, man, that memory came back to me, flooding back to me. Ooh, that's bad. That was a bad game. Let's hope we don't have any of those on Saturday. I keep saying tomorrow, but it's Saturday. I still have to work one more day. Yeah. Whatever. So, like I said, been playing this for about a year and a half now. This is definitely the deck I'm most comfortable with playing. I feel like I know the counts, the soul, the characters, how to compress well with it, as well as you can. Standby isn't really a deck that controls itself well, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't have many Akatsuki effects. I don't have as, I guess, aggressive as a Brainstorm package as some decks do. I don't really have too much milling. What the deck does have is a lot of discard, a lot of top checking, some bouncing, and a good amount of draw. Definitely fueled by this guy, my Resident Brainstormer, the only one I run, because he is the one that allows me to play this Kirito on the stage for 0 stock. Yeah. So, of course, we play him, and he's blue. Blue is one of the primary colors in the decks, or the deck. And, even though it definitely lacks a lot of the control that some other meta choices have right now, especially Konosuba, Bang Dream to an extent, Love Live definitely. You can brick on it. I'd say still 1 out of 9, 1 out of 10 games, depending on how lucky you are that day. But the times you don't brick, ooh, this deck feels so good to play. I love it. Still love it to this day. Still really enjoy playing it every time I pick it up, even those times I brick. And it's like, you're going to brick with whatever deck you play with sometimes, but there are definitely situations with Standby where you feel like you're in a situation you really can't do anything about because you just don't have the deck control that other decks do. And that can feel bad. I'm just kind of contradicting what I said there, but life is full of dualities. They are what they are. So on that note, I experimented very briefly with the idea of ceasing to run Standby as kind of my main squeeze. I thought about going toward Meta Konosuba because I've always loved Konosuba as a set. In fact, my Konosuba deck is sitting right here in front of me. Just kind of flash that on camera here. Oh, look, it's Meta Konosuba. If you don't know what Meta Konosuba is, it runs a bunch of really good cards like this Aqua that top checks when she comes in, then you can pay 2 to free fresh, and this Yunyun that on reverse, she's a base 6k, gives you a blind stock, and top checks for level 1 or higher, you can add it to hand. This deck's pretty broken, all things considered. The most broken card in it is definitely, where are you? Run 4 of you in here. Ambush Yunyun, she is a Resonate level 0 with this other Megumin here. If you do, you pay 1, you rest her, you Akatsuki for free without discarding, which is pretty good. And when she comes in, you can pay 1, clock yourself, and just grab this, so you can just Resonate whenever the hell you want. And this deck's really stupid. I hate it. Just kidding, I love this deck. But what I don't like about this deck was how it played when I was testing it. Now, granted, I definitely wanted to test with it a little bit more. When I was thinking I might switch to Konosuba in terms of the main deck I play, I really thought about just going in that direction, because again, I really loved Konosuba, both as an anime and a set. And I didn't get to test with it nearly as much as I wanted to. My area isn't super big for Weiss Schwarz. I didn't really have a lot of people to play tested against at length. And when I did play it in my locals, I really just felt like it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. Now granted, I was most likely piloting it very wrong, and I still think I was piloting it wrong, just personally, the way I felt. I didn't quite know what I was doing wrong, which, bad player, whatever. I'm a bad player, what can you do about it, except get good? So I tried to get good, and I couldn't. I just really didn't feel like the deck was running like a lot of people were making it run when I was watching it place and watching it play, especially pro players who are piloting it. Now that Bushiroad is better about getting top games out, there's a lot of Konosuba on their YouTube channel now, where the Weiss is, a small percentage of the Weiss makes up of Bushiroad's YouTube channel. But Yeah, I saw Konosuba played and run, and it was just ridiculous Magical Christmas Land most every time, and I just couldn't get the deck to do that. I really am interested in studying it more. I want to keep playing it. I want to see maybe what I was doing wrong, what I can learn by picking it up again. I want to play it in more casual settings, but again, you know, in my area, I don't really have too many people to practice against actively, which sucks. I'm one of the only ones in my friend group that really actively plays. And the place I play is about 45 minutes-ish away from me, which isn't a bad drive considering that some people will actually drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to get there. Which, you know, if you're just going to play White Shores, it's crazy, man. What are you doing? Just kidding, I didn't say that. Just keep coming, keep coming. I don't want to lose people at locals. Jesus, God. You know what? I can't figure out if at my locals Weiss is growing or shrinking. I just can't figure it out. Anyway. I don't want to use these sleeves, but whatever. Whatever. I also had a lot of trouble navigating through my piles and piles of crap in my Weiss room. You know, the room in my house that because I'm, you know, just kind of a young, disgusting bachelor, I don't have too much furniture to put here, so it became my Weiss studio. And I couldn't find a pack of sleeves that actually wasn't used, that I hadn't put back there, and thinking, oh yeah, I'll totally use those again, even though they're like disgusting. Why don't I just throw oversleeves out? I don't know. I really should. I'm definitely throwing out the KMC mats once I'm done with them. And by once I'm done with them, I mean like after this video. Well, I guess you can still see a lot of the shininess through that. That's not terrible, but still, I really don't like how these feel. It sucks. Sucks. Everything sucks. I suck. That's really true. I do suck. I'm not that great of a Weiss player, I don't think. Speaking of that, why don't we talk about just play strategies tomorrow in general. That's one thing I wanted to talk about. First things first, one big strategy piece that comes into play even before I play my first card tomorrow is whether I decide to use the buy card I have for the shop tournaments. I won the shop tournament fairly recently when we went down in August. It was Superstar Card Gaming in... Oh, where the hell was it? Whatever. Maryland. Obviously it's in Maryland. I just can't remember the town name because it's kind of far away from me. Forgive me. Superstar Card Gaming, by the way, if anyone from there is watching this, I really love your store. I really like the venue. You know, it is kind of hole in the wall, but it's very wholesome. And for a hole in the wall shop, it's way more comfortable than a lot of not hole in the wall shops I've been to, for what it's worth. I'd like them a lot better if they carried individual Weiss product, but I totally get why they don't. So, that said, I have a buy card. Wasn't completely sure if I wanted to use it on Saturday. I think I'm leaning toward yes now, and I'll tell you a little bit of my thinking about that. If you use a buy card in a Bushiroad tournament, you do have a win for the first round, but that win does not have nearly as many points in tiebreakers or matching as an actual win. So like if I would go 5-2 with 5 wins and 2 losses after 7 rounds, and I had the buy, my record would be a lot worse than anyone else with 5-2 who didn't have the buy, and that's a really important cut because, you know, 5-2s will oftentimes be able to cut into top 8 if their tiebreakers are good. And if I have 2 losses tomorrow and a buy, you know, that really kills me. That's, you know, I can't really afford to take that second loss then. I need to have 1 loss for the entire day to cut into top 8, and that's it. If I didn't use the buy, I could probably get away with 2 losses, maybe cut into top 8, still have a chance. And mathematically, I think round 1, you know, coming into round 1 where the field is the biggest and standby is kind of a blowout glass cannon deck, I like it in round 1. I think actually as you progress in the tournament, it gets to be a worse choice because people just know what to do, what to fuck with it, and people are less susceptible to the things you do to fuck with their strategies in standby, even though it's kind of a non-interactive deck. But even non-interactive decks are interactive in their own ways. You control your own field, what people can reverse. But anyway, before I go too far on that tangent and lose my original train of thought, but there, what I was considering was even if you don't think about the implications for the tournament. When it comes to using a buy, there are other things to think about. One, if I don't play first round, stamina is actually a big part of Weiss tournaments, I think. I used to grind the circuit in MTG a lot when I played MTG, especially in Legacy. You know, these are almost hour-long rounds, 9 rounds a day, even before cut to top 8. And oh my god, the stamina and the mental fortitude it takes to kind of keep playing and grind those matchups is staggering, especially when you don't have too much time to eat or get a drink. You know, you just really start not being with it after a while. And I've felt that. I felt the tournament heat, and it's definitely something to take into consideration. I think by using a buy, I kind of save myself that first round where I can relax, go to the field a little bit. Really importantly, check out the vendors, look at the dollar boxes, see what I can pick up. I've had some lucky finds in some dollar boxes, especially the last time. I actually found a Prince Eugen level 1 among Prince Eugen level 3s in the dollar box. I was really appreciative of that. But I actually do need some bulk rares to finish a few decks, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm just kind of hanging out, like I said, during round 1, not playing it, I think will help me mentally. It'll give me kind of a boost to think about. You know, it's definitely a possibility I'll just kind of sit around, do nothing, and be nervous all day, all for the first round, but whatever. You know, it also gives me ample time after breakfast and after I get to the tournament situated to use the bathroom while there's almost nobody in it, which is always nice, you know. Well, I don't really have to go into what kind of a nightmare using the bathroom in a tournament scene is like, especially in MTG. Holy shit. Bathrooms in MTG tournaments, I've seen some disgusting shit. Yeah, hit me up in person if you want to hear some of my stories about that if you're going to Secaucus, because I'm not going to talk about them on YouTube because they are just not appropriate for anyone. Not safe for life. A lot of MTG tournaments are not safe for life. I don't know. Well, that's not fair to say now. I mean, I was grinding years and years ago, so I don't know what they're like now. I haven't attended like a Grand Prix or, you know, a big event in 5, 6 years, and things have probably changed a lot since then. I know the game has changed a lot since then. Another thing about big tournaments that I kind of carry with me from MTG and my MTG grinding days is considering the load I'm taking with me. Even now, I'm not entirely sure if I want to take my camera and tripod. They're really cumbersome, even though they're only 2 small little packages to carry around. Just carrying them around all day when I'm trying to sit down and, you know, play people and get into my seat on time and blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if I'll be doing any filming there aside from my cell phone to just get some B-roll. Still don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'll probably pack them, and if I really feel like a go-getter tomorrow, I'll go ahead and get them, bring them in, or I could always just leave them in the car, and, you know, if I do finish early or scrub out, which is a very good possibility, I can just grab them, maybe film a few casual games, but that's another thing. I really do look forward to the casual games that I get to play at a regionals event because it's one of the only places I run into a lot of Weiss players, and I really like casual matches. I just love mashing out games with bad decks, especially one I'm bringing. It's my Fate Apocrypha deck. Where the hell is it? Oh, it's right here. Definitely bringing this. Lovely Fran sleeves. Love these Fran sleeves. My friends got these for me from Japan when they went. Sincere thank you to them. Definitely bringing that because that deck is jank. But generally, I don't have the time that I would like to have for casual games at every regional I go to. I've maybe gotten in 3 or 4 maximum when I went last year in the fall. Really hoping to increase that this time, and by that I mean I guess I could just drop out round 1 and see who wants to play. But, you know, last regional we went to, our team made it to top 8, which of course prevented me from playing any casual games aside from 1. And, you know, that's a first world Weiss problem to have. I didn't get to play any, you know, casual games because I was in top 8. But I really would like to play them. I would like to trade with people. You know, I know Weiss isn't huge on trading, nearly as much as other card games are. but I still like trading. I like paging through binders. I like just kind of moving cards around through the collection I keep, getting my hands on different spares so I can build different decks. You know, I've got a few in the works now that I want to finish up, seeing if I can grab the last pieces or few pieces I need for those from players or just cheap at the vendors. But I always like trading. Always like trading because it's not only a big social aspect of the game, it's very rewarding for me because I used to trade a lot at MTG. A very long history with MTG, if you can't tell. I know I might have talked about it before somewhere on the channel, but that was my original card game. And I sold out of that 5-6 years ago. Whenever Avacyn Restored came out and Griselbrand came out, I quit. There were a lot of reasons I quit besides Griselbrand, but he was a big part of it. You know, that's where I drew the line, so to speak. But enough about MTG, now we're playing Weiss, and we're almost done re-sleeving this deck. So why don't I kind of close out this rambly video by talking about how the deck works, and what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and what I want to see and what I don't want to see tomorrow. So first of all, a quick rundown. What I like about the deck. It can be very explosive. You can just have some of the most brutal turn 1, 2, and 3s in the game with this deck. You can stand by this 1/1 on turn 0, get a card in your hand, still attack with a character. It's disgusting. It's very, very disgusting what you can do. You can stand by this as soon as you hit level 1, this Rhapsodic Lisbeth that gets up to a 10/5/2 soul for free. You have these level 1 Suiciders, which are really nice against a lot of the level 1 combos you see, especially Aaron, these screw over Aaron hard. And when you hit level 2, and you get to just stand by one of these out behind your early plays, which are all in the bottom of the deck, this Adventure with Everyone Lisbeth and Link Strikes Xenon, both really good SAO early plays. You can stand by one of these behind them. That's so brutal. Like, what do? You can't do anything about that. Well, people have done stuff about it in the past, and they probably will tomorrow. I mean, Saturday. It's Thursday. I have to work tomorrow. I hate that. Whatever. Oh, where was I? Sorry, I'm not quite used to these yet. Like I said, this is a little bit out of the norm for me. I don't have a script, I don't have an idea. Just thought to myself, you know, it might be nice to do some talking while I re-sleeve, because that generally takes a good chunk of time. And I don't really feel like doing that when I get there on Saturday. Anyway, so that's what I like about it. Another thing I like about it, just lastly, is my main finishing combo is pretty non-interactive. I don't have to reverse anything. I don't have to worry about my opponent's powers. I just need one climax, which is a pants, which is awesome. It doesn't cost me a ton of stock because I can play the Kirito for free. It doesn't cost me a ton of cards in hand because I can always search up other cards with the Asuna when she comes in. When you play Attack and Waves Asuna, she just searches a character for you for free. It's pretty cool. And that's generally what I like about Standby. It's big, it's dumb, it's explosive, and when you hit your stride, your opponent will look at it and be like, well, how do I do against that? You know, this guy's level 1, and he's got a front row that's like pushing 9k, 10k. You know, what do you do about that? Well, not much. And that's why I like it against decks like Titan. I like it against Konosuba to a big extent. There are some parts of the Konosuba matchup I really don't like, but I think in general this deck has a pretty good match against Konosuba. If you're just careful with your early plays and don't get baited the hell out with the 1-0 backup. That's a big part of playing around Konosuba. Kantai Collection, really like this deck. I hate these sleeves. Hate these sleeves so much. Ugh. Anyway, Kantai Collection, I really like this deck against Kantai. The Prince Eugens don't get big enough to survive. Maya, I think she's the one that free stocks when you use an act. Doesn't get big enough to really capitalize on that. The Kashimas do get big enough to reverse some of my stuff, but not all of it usually. And against Kantai, I found that people just really start bleeding out cards. I never found the matchup to be problematic for Standby. In fact, I think it's probably my best matchup. Things I don't like about the deck. Let's just move right on to there. Things I don't like about the deck. Like I said, big thing that made me tempted to move away from it was lack of deck control. You know, you just might get a hand of, you know, da, 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 and da. Like, oh, that sucks. But, you know, hey, I'm playing standby. I'll just discard these 3 because you should always keep this in your hand. Watch me make that mistake. I've made it in regionals before, discarding this card. When I don't have another one in hand, you should always clock first turn with this. Always. It should always be here if it's in your opening hand. But don't worry, I'll make that mistake tomorrow. And then, like, you draw this and this. Well, I guess, you know, this is my hand. You draw this, this, and some other bullshit. Like, let's say this, because the deck is very top-heavy. And then, like, you're just struggling. You don't want to play this out. A lot of your level 0s are utility level 0s, unfortunately. Like, you don't want to lose these. You don't want to run these out in the front row turn 1. You don't want to run these out in the front row turn 1. These are not the best turn 1 plays, unfortunately. This is something else I wanted really to talk about in this deck. I've liked experimenting with this Maid Close Asuna because she can bounce a character back to my hand when she attacks by discarding a card, which is really awesome because I can discard standby targets and save characters. Like, if I like reverse something with one of these Silicas and then I'm able to bounce it back to my hand, and then like to get extra mileage out of her Climax salvage effect and get another level 1 reverse, it's pretty good. And these also fix for yellow, and they have 2/5 power, which is not bad, so I really liked my experimentation with them so far. I'll probably be keeping them in for tomorrow. But another thing I don't really like about this deck is it doesn't really have a way to deal with problematic level 0s that my opponent has. I don't have a stock kicker, I don't have a clock exchange at all, really, unfortunately. The best thing I can do is memory kick with the characters in front of Asuna. That's not until level 2, so I can't really punish my opponent for using On Death Akatsuki's, which, you know, Konosuba has, in form of the Nuisance Megumin, which is eroded to say On Death you Akatsuki now, and of course Fran from Apocrypha, not that I'm really afraid of the Apocrypha matchup, but just problematic level 0s in general. I wish I had a better way of dealing with them in this deck. That's one thing I don't like about it. The other one, of course, is the consistency issue. I don't really have too much hand fixing in here. Very limited. I have, obviously, the Brainstormer. I have this which can top check and add cards to my hand, which is okay. It's definitely great for adding cards to my hand when I have the Climax, but not very good for fixing. This is the Climax Salvager, which fixes a little bit. And again, that's kind of a more minimal package than what you see nowadays, because there are definitely much better ways for people to fix their hand in a lot of better sets. I mean, oh my god, look at Titan, look at Bang Dream, look at Sunshine. They're hand fixing Konosuba. Why did I leave out Konosuba? I should have said Konosuba first, if anything. You know, I really don't like that I don't have as much hand or deck control. And if I'm, you know, one thing that I'm really scared about in the matches I do brick is if I draw a bunch of Climaxes turn 1 or turn 2 and I'm like sitting at 5 out and still have a lot of my deck, I'm going to get punished for it. I don't have a really good way of moving through my deck at all. Let's have a look at this opener. Woo! Let's see. Okay, if I was at regionals tomorrow, this would be a pretty rough opener. So why don't we just start discarding 3, see what we get. Oh, wow, that's so much better. Okay. Well, let's finish off my thoughts, because this video is getting really long with matchups I don't want to see tomorrow. Oh my god, it's so good if I get this hand tomorrow at regionals. I'm gonna nut. I'm gonna nut. If we get a tag on a white shark, I'm gonna nut. Things I don't really want to see. Sunshine. It is, without a doubt, thanks to my one friend, my most practiced matchup. I feel confident in it, but at the same time, I really hate playing the matchup. Because, like, oh my god. I just don't like it. Yeah, we'd bin that. Really don't like playing against Sunshine. It's just not fun for anyone involved. Except the Sunshine player, so I guess it's fun for half the table. Bang Dream, my matchup against Bang Dream has never been awful, I think. I really like what my deck can do to help me win against Bang Dream. Especially in the area of size, I can generally stop myself from taking an inordinate amount of damage from, like, let's say, what is she called? Birdcage Yukina. You know, generally my stuff gets big enough where she can't get reliable reverses off. I've got a pretty big backup. I've got Asanas in the back, and I can control a lot of what my front row looks like, but still, you know, I really don't want to play against it. It's not fun. It's a grind. It's always an uphill battle just because the deck is so good, much like Sunshine. The deck is just so good. It's an uphill battle. Konosuba is an uphill battle, but I also feel that I have more ways to make their day harder, as it were. You know, that again comes with the size that they're dealing with up front. I think against me, especially with the level 1 Suiciders and the way I can bounce cards and the size that my cards that I do leave on the field get, that Yun has a much tougher time finding reverses. And if she can't find reverses, that deck gets really set behind. But again, you know, the further you go into the top, the better a good player is going to be able to adapt to that. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know, these are just the observations I've made after not too much time of playing the deck. But definitely feel good about some of those elements. What did I want? That's right, I know what I wanted. Wanted to get back another one of these because we'll just go ahead and play this. And I'll play this because I just start... Yeah, I think at this point I just want to start doing this. New sleeves. This is why I'm gold fishing, just to kind of break these in a little bit. Holy shit. Let's discard one of these. Okay. Yeah, I've got some discard fodder now, so let's do it. Ace trap. Ouch. That's why everything sucks, but that's alright. We see that on top. You know, if this was a standby climax, I've definitely had that happen before, where I can attack with this first and then get a good standby trigger in there by pitching something. That's, again, one reason I like this card. So if this happened to me during regionals, I wouldn't be too upset at all. In fact, I've got Heinous Trap in here now that I can pants, which is really good. So let's just go ahead and attack with this first. We pants Heinous Trap. So good. Gonna be all ready for level 2. Trade out with something. Attack with this. Pitch. Well, I guess I have to pitch, you know, before I attack, but, you know, gold fishing. Don't make that mistake. Tomorrow me, don't make that mistake, please. Oh my god, don't do that. Oh my god, this video is 33 minutes long. Holy crap, I'm just kind of looking at my counter here I have on my camera. I mean, I guess that really completes my thoughts for regionals. What I'm looking forward to, what I want to see, what I want to get out of the tournament, what I'm doing for it, what I'm playing, what I want to play, what I don't want to play, what I consider playing, etc. We've really covered a lot of ground here. I might not post this, I might, but we'll see. I'll just listen to it quick and see what I think. Because you know what? Like I said, I've wanted to experiment with a video format like this before. I want to start doing more of these informal talks. One thing about them is they do kind of get long because I get off track easily and I'm not great off script yet. I say yet, like someday I will, I probably won't be, but you know. But little community interaction for you. See where I am, see where I'm going. If you are going to Secaucus on the 21st of September 2019, I'll see you there. If not, enjoy whatever the hell else you're doing, whether that be working, whether that be staying at home. I know that in Vail, it's a big mood, having to stay home during regionals. But yeah, other than that, wherever you are, here, there, anywhere, space, the moon, Saturn, wherever you're watching this, some alien race 5,000 years in the future, when this beams 50 years later from all the World War II broadcasts that made it when the radio and TV was first invented, blah, 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 I don't know where I'm going with this. Thanks for watching. Peace.